Are you thinking, I don't know the difference between UI and UX design, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask? Well, good news. You don't have to ask because I'll hand you the answer right here in this video. Whether you're interested in pursuing a career in UX or UI design, looking to hire a UX or UI designer, or just curious about the difference, you can keep watching to find out more. Let's start by defining each of our terms, beginning with UI design. UI stands for user interface. In the context of web design, UI focuses on how the website looks, how it's laid out, what people see when they visit the site. On the one hand, yes, that does mean UI is about how visually appealing the site looks. But on the other hand, UI also considers how the site's visual layout affects the experience of using it. UI designers think about things like white space and font size to figure out what will be the most intuitive for users. Okay, so now let's define UX design. UX stands for user experience, and it's about designing a website that provides a seamless experience for the user. It's about laying out the site in such a way that it not only looks great, but also functions seamlessly and has all the necessary elements. As you might have guessed, this includes UI. UI is actually a subset of UX. If you made a Venn diagram of them, it looks something like this. UI focuses specifically on the visual layout of the site, while UX also considers how smoothly the site works. You can kind of think of it as a matter of form versus function. Here's an analogy for you, in case you're still a little confused. Imagine you're creating a map. You need that map to look clean and organized for people to understand it. You need them to be able to tell what's a river and what's a road. It needs to be laid out in a way that's not confusing. That's UI design. But that by itself isn't enough. You could theoretically create a map that has a beautiful layout, but still isn't helpful at all. It doesn't label any of the landmarks, it doesn't show any of the areas it's supposed to show, and it's printed on paper so thin that it practically falls apart in your hands. I don't care how beautiful it is, if I get a hold of a map like that, I'm probably going to toss it in the trash. It's the same way with a website, an app, or anything else. All of those things together make up UX design. Now that we've gone over what UI and UX design are, let's talk about what these designers actually do, starting with UI designers. First of all, let me clarify that the role of a UI designer or a UX designer can look a lot different depending on the specific company. Having said that, UI designer jobs often focus heavily on graphic design. Someone in this role will be expected to have a good understanding of things like white space and color theory. The job of a UI designer is to think about what visual elements will be the easiest and most intuitive for users, and then to implement those elements. Examples of UI elements include buttons, color themes, responsive design, and more. The role of a UX designer is a lot more ambiguous because it totally depends on the size of your team. If you've got a whole team, different people on the team will probably have different responsibilities. You'll divide up the work of the UX design process across the group. On the other hand, if you only have one person managing all of it, that person will have a lot of responsibilities. For one thing, a UX designer might be responsible for deciding which elements will appear on the page, as well as where they'll appear and how they'll be labeled. This affects how easily users can find their way around the page and around the website as a whole. UX designers will also perform a lot of usability tests, creating prototypes to see how easily users can interact with the final product. They might test how easy it is to navigate the site, how quickly the pages load, and plenty more. To do all of these tasks, UX designers will use tools like Figma or UserZoom. Before we wrap up this video, let's ask one last question. If you're a business owner, which should you hire? A UI designer or a UX designer? The answer to that depends, again, on the size of your business. If you plan on building out a whole UX team, you'll want both. You can hire different types of designers to handle your UX, and at least one of those designers should be a UI designer. On the other hand, if you only plan on hiring one person to manage your UX, then you'll need to make sure that they're proficient in all areas of UX design, including UI design. Basically, you want to make sure you have people who can handle both UX and UI. Well, there you go. If you want to see more helpful content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.